Okay, thank you, everybody. This session's on managing care team, and a few of us are going to speak about a few different ways that you can do that to live your life. I receive what's called self-directed support in Scotland, but it's very similar to personal health budgets. And I receive a direct payment, which is a payment direct to me to manage my own 24-hour support. In setting it all up, I received some support and training from what's called the Lothian Centre for Independent Living, an independent living centre. And they helped me with job descriptions and adverts and some bits of training and things. At the moment I employ 5 PAs who provide me with 24-hour care and support that work on the rota system. Of course, achieving this independence has involved a lot of work and learning from my mistakes as I've gone along. It might seem very daunting at first to be running your own support, but I would say it's totally worth being in full control of the decisions around your own support. And you can actually select your own care team that might fit in more with your lifestyle. But fighting, unfortunately, fighting for this type of funding package has become a lot more difficult, and it has become much harder for the PAs to live on their wages, just with the cost of living and everything these days. And that can unfortunately impact on the recruitment and retainment of your PAs, but which I've been very lucky to avoid so far. But that can be quite worrying for myself and other disabled people who can only live independently with the support that's available. But getting it right and finding the perfect PA has become more important than ever. So I'll just briefly run through some of the things you need to have in place before you actually employ a PA. One is you've got to write a job description. And when you start doing that, you've got to really think about all the tasks and support that you need in your day-to-day life. It doesn't have to include absolutely everything, but as long as you have your care needs covered and what other support you actually need. So I should specify the details what tasks you need a PA to do for you, and also just to write a little bit about yourself so that the PA briefly knows a little bit about you. And in that, it's usually set by your funder, but you've got to choose an appropriate rate of pay and calculate extra costs such as holiday pay and payroll fees, but quite often your funder will set what that is. And then you have to think about writing an advert to attract a new PA, attract a PA, and that should include brief information about what the duties of the job is, hours, rate of play, and how to apply. And you have to ensure your advert is in line with employment legislation, and it's best to get support with putting that together. And set a return deadline when you want it back. And need to think about where to advertise and placing adverts. I've quite often used Gumtree or advertised on this Centre for Independent Living website. And then you've got to really think, once your advert's gone out and come back, hopefully you've got quite a few applications come back. Although I have to say, sometimes you get very few. You have to think how you're going to shortlist and conduct an interview. So you've got to think sort of relevant questions that you might ask of a PA just to find out about their experience or their attitude or what their thoughts are working for a disabled person. I'd be quite amazed at something interesting answers you get to some of your questions. They can be a bit bizarre sometimes. And you can have somebody else to attend the interview with you just to help you, or ask questions or take notes or remind you of what you said, so that bit's fine. So once you've hopefully shortlisted, you might have a couple people you want to interview, and hopefully they'll turn up. Because I have had the experience quite often where you're all ready, but they just don't turn up for the interview. So hopefully, if you've done a successful interview and you know who you want to employ, it's about making a job offer, so that's great. Straightforward, call them up, you've got the job, and hopefully they'll be willing to start. Some people might require up to a month's notice, but hopefully you can find your new PA. And then what to have in place for when a PA starts is sort of, you have to think about how you're going to introduce them to the job. And usually once you've, because I've had experienced PAs, I usually get them to shadow a new person for maybe half a shift or a couple of shifts, just to get them trained up to what to do. And then some of the official things you need to check is that you have to check references before your PA starts, just to check out okay. There's some of the official things you need to have in place is writing up a contract of employment. This just includes most of the legal stuff and some of the practical things, and you've got to think about how you're going to maybe train your personal assistants, whether there's an official course you can do, or whether you just do your own in-house training with an experienced PA. And And your contract has to cover things like how much they're paid, what hours they work, things like health and safety things, like holiday, your employers, and certain grievance procedures. If your PA has a problem, what do they do? And your contract just sets out all the legal requirements. It'll detail holidays and the rights that your PA has. And the contract's also there to protect you as employer by laying it out officially. And other things you need to have in place is you have to have employers' liability insurance. There's specialist companies that deal with that. I think I use one that's called Fish. And you've got to think of little things about health and safety, providing a safe environment for your PAs to work in. And have you got suitable equipment and things like that? You don't have to go overboard with it, but just be aware that you have to provide a safe environment. And have a plan for emergencies. A lot of people have relief PAs or find a suitable agency for backup support. And I think, and you have to have some payroll in place. You can either do that yourself, which involves a lot of paperwork, so it's better getting a provider to handle your payroll. There's, for me again, the Centre Independent Living provides that, or you can find other providers. And then sort of ongoing management of your PAs. You have to, you're supposed to do regular supervision or performance reviews. You can do this every few months or 6 months or at least once a year. It's important. And then it's just really day-to-day management of your PA. How are they working well? Things like that. And then think about rotas and organising your own time, how your PA is going to fit around your life, basically. And really, you've got to be there supporting your PAs, helping them if they're not sure, or reminding them if they're not doing something right. But part of that's about being a good boss and considering their needs as well as yours. You've got to think about how you deal with problems if they arise. I've had experience where somebody kept being late, so you've got a procedure there that you give them a verbal warning, and if it keeps happening, they get a written warning, and if it keeps happening, you can write a letter saying you've lost your job. That's the 3-point rule, really. And that's about it, really. I would just say, just to remember, your PA isn't there to be your friend, but maintaining a good friendly relationship can make it an enjoyable experience for yourself and the PA. It's not an easy process, but I certainly like doing it, and I can recommend it. So that's my experience. I think it was Tyran going to see something next.
Yeah, I just wanted to kind of echo a lot of what Mark says. I also employ my own PAs. I have 8 PAs, and some of them are already part-time or cover, and some more regular full-time ones. I think I just wanted to also say that you know, it is a lot of work initially to get it all set up, and I think that's why it's so important to have an organisation like Mark mentioned, an independent living organisation that can guide you through the whole process. And then I think, you know, once you've got a stable team, then it does get a lot easier, and there's not so much work to do. Obviously, from time to time, people will leave, and that there will be situations that you have to deal with and put a bit more time into. But I think, for the most part, I don't find it too onerous. You know, I highly recommend it just in terms of, you know, you're in charge of your own support. And I think, like, I mean, Tyran's going to be talking about agencies as well, but, you know, I've heard of people that have issues with agency care as well. So I don't think there's any one option that's perfect. And I don't think employing your PAs is perfect either. I think in terms of the kind of PAs, I would say there's no such thing as a perfect PA, because no one's perfect. I'm not perfect. So I think what you know, you've got to realise that, and I think finding someone who's reliable and will turn up is absolutely essential. Finding someone you can trust is also essential, and I think finding someone that you can, you know, have a positive working relationship with is really important. So it's not necessary to make friends. I mean, your PA is there to help you get out and about and support you, so you can go make friends. They may become your friends. I've got PAs that have become my friends, but I've never recruited them with that in mind. That's just happened over time, I think. And just in terms of recruitment, I just also wanted to mention a bit about my experience. So I've been having to do a lot of recruitment lately, and I found that it has got a lot harder. It's often very competitive. You've got like care agencies and care homes trying to pick up a lot of the staff that might also become PAs. I think that means you've got to be fairly prompt with things in terms of, you know, if you find someone you like, then give them a go, give them a trial, and, you know, get them started really. So I think, yeah. In terms of interviews, often I've actually found recently it's almost been 50-50 whether people will turn up to an interview, and again, it's because it's so competitive. And I'd say don't organise your life around the interviews. Make them fit into your life, so that you're not kind of sat there fed up because you wasted the day waiting around for someone. But I think you know, there are still good people out there, and I think you've got to advertise as widely as possible, really. You know, I've used everything from word of mouth to, you know, putting adverts on specialist sites and also kind of general job sites. And I think just really try everything, and yeah, you never know who might be good. I can't never really tell from what they look like on paper. So I tend to err on the side of interviewing people and then just see if we hit it off, really. Anyway, yeah, that's just a few things I wanted to add, but yeah, I find PAs just make my life so much easier, and I really enjoy having like consistent PAs that I've had for 6 years. That they've really developed a great relationship and know how to support me really well. And yeah, that's where the real benefits of having PAs come in, I think.
Yeah, I'm from Leicester, and the problem I've been finding is I've advertised a lot. I've even got the hours and the money, but the problem is actually finding relevant carers in the area. That's very difficult to kind of research and get them, really, because if you don't use the money gets taken away from you. So that's kind of a bit of a tricky area, really.
Yeah, definitely. I think recruitment is very challenging. I mean, I'm happy to kind of chat with you later about your recruitment process and whether there's anything that you might be able to look at to make it a bit easier. But yeah, it can be hard. There's no doubt about that. But if you're getting a care agency, they're recruiting people too, so they will probably be finding it challenging too. So it's about kind of thinking whether there's anything you can do, but just keep going, really, persevering. Okay, I'm going to hand over to Tyran, who's going to talk about care agency.
But I observe it. Yeah, okay. Yep, okay. Um, the CCG decided that they would fund a nursing agency for my care as opposed to a normal care agency as they offer more specialized care, with carers being trained in nursing procedures which supported my complex care requirements. I use Request Nursing Agency based in Hampshire. When I first started with them, their nurse and care coordinator came to discuss with me all my care needs to set up a care plan. When I need a new carer, the agency will arrange a meet and greet where I will interview them. If I think they'll be suitable for my package, they will come for a shadow shift. When these formalities have been completed, I will allocate them a specific shift where I'll be working with them alongside an experienced carer. Or, although they will have done mandatory and critical training with the agency, they will still get in-house training with myself and my critical carers. Most importantly, I have a bespoke emergency scenario training for all my carers, which is provided by myself and the agency nurse and trainer. I have a team of 12 carers which do at least one shift every week, so they keep their skills up to date. that they've been trained in. When one of my carers are sick or on holiday, the agency covers them with another member of my team. In extreme circumstances, if they're unable to cover the shift, they will send a new team member who is critically trained to work with one of my usual team members for that particular shift. The advantages of using this system is that request office takes care of organizing all the shifts on a rota system. They have an out-of-hours mobile number to be contacted on in an emergency. All the financial and legal responsibilities are undertaken by the agency, including weekly pay, national insurance contributions, income tax, and DBS checks. They provide the necessary paperwork, such as medication charts, daily care records, suction records, daily check sheets, day and night pathways. Risk assessments are carried out to ensure a safe working environment for all the carers and myself. Gloves and aprons are provided by the agency. The disadvantage of my agency is that they employ carers on a 0-hour contract basis, so the carers are not obligated or bound by any contract if they need to cancel a shift at any time. However, I have a good relationship with my team, and this rarely happens. Overall, I maintain a very close working relationship with the agency, with regular nurse visits overseeing any concerns I may have. I also have good communications with the care coordinator, arranging my rota and advising of anything that needs changing. When I first received the funding from the CCG, they didn't have the option of direct payments in place. However, this has now changed, but I prefer to continue with this arrangement as it relieves me from the responsibilities of having to be my own accountant. Thanks for listening. Any questions?
My question is for you, Tyran, and really for all of you adults with Duchenne. It's how you make the transition from your parents being your key carers to trusting someone else to do it. And if there are any parents or carers in the room who can say how they're coping with that, because I know from personal experience, I have a nephew with Duchenne who's 23, and that's a big issue. And who's ready to give up? Who's ready to move? You know, who's ready to say, Mum, I think we can do this on our own? Or Mum saying, I think you're actually all right. I don't need to be involved as much anymore. So it's that kind of tussle.
Yeah, I think it is a big challenge, but I just, well, for me personally, it kind of just all, but then fell into place because I didn't have any, like, from changing from social services to CCG, they just like, it just happened like straight away. And yeah, I just, don't know, it's just like, yeah, David, you want to say a question about Kira? David? Yeah.
You can start the process gradually with just having one PA and them doing a few hours in your home. Whilst your parents are still there, I mean, you can make it a gradual process.
I was just going to say the same. It's, you know, it's baby steps really, and but I think there's a need to recognise that you know, you do need to introduce other carers at some point, regardless of your living situation, because as your needs increase, it just becomes too much for you know, parents to manage by themselves, because it's too much for any one person or any two people to manage by themselves. I think it's there needs to be a recognition that, you know, our needs increase, and that means we need to get more people to help us in our lives. And yeah, exactly. Parents also getting older, so, and I think you know, my relationship with my parents has completely transformed since I ended up having independent care, and that, you know, they've taken up new hobbies that they weren't able to take up before, and, you know, I think they're really enjoying their kind of their retirement now, and I'm glad for that. And I think yeah, I'm glad that our relationship has changed, so we're not now dependent on them, and I can actually think about them a bit more. That's quite nice.
Hello, I'm Linda, Tyran's mum. I think for Tyran it was quite, he sort of went to college, but he went to Trelawn's College, which was a boarding college, and I think that's when we sort of did the break of me caring for him and suddenly going to college and having other carers. And then after that it just continued. When he came home, he had home care agencies come in to help, and I think it just moved on from there. And I think Tyran always knows I'm around if he needs me, but, you know, I'd rather step back and let them, you know, they've all been trained, and I do help with some of the training as well, so I'm quite confident that everyone's up to a good standard to sort of let go and let them get on with things, so, yeah. Yeah, sorry.
I'll just add a little bit to that, is I think there are parents that really want to hand over, but it's just finding the right carer and trusting them, and, you know, the carer picking up things and looking out for problems. I think once you have that trust in a carer, then I think a parent's quite willing to let go. It's just sometimes the setbacks are like what we've had. We've had a good carers, we've trained them up, and suddenly their circumstances change and they leave. And as a parent, if you haven't kept up, it's really hard to step back in. So you sort of are there on a background, stepping in all the while, and then it becomes more hard to leave, because you think, well, you're never going to be in a situation where you can hand over. But I think the parents that are willing is just building that trust and then letting go.
Hello, sorry, I'm a bit nervous. I have, my son's 10, he's called Ben, and he had 3 fractures within 6 months, 2 of them operations, and he's got metal pins in his legs. And I had to get carers in because I'm a manifesting carrier of Duchenne. So I struggle changing him for school. Sorry, guys. So I want to look after him. I want to do everything for him, but I haven't got a choice. I need carers because I can't physically do it. And Ben's struggling. He hates her. He throws things at her. He won't let her. He won't comply with her, with his carer. So we're all struggling, and Ben's struggling. So sorry, I just had to share that with you. Sometimes I interfere, and then sometimes I just walk away and let them fight the battle between them. I don't know what else to do. I want. He's struggling to come to terms with having the carers in. So sorry, I'm not good at talking.
I mean, I think if we're all being honest, we've all had challenges and struggles with carers at one point or another where it hasn't really kind of been working out. And so yeah, I mean, it is difficult, and you're certainly kind of not alone in that respect. I mean, I can't talk to your specific issues, but I think again, it's around finding a good carer that you can kind of trust, so that you can step back and you can feel confident. And I suppose it's about having the PAs that have, or the carers from an agency, and maybe the agency themselves need to understand the kind of the needs and have the the skills to deal with that. I mean, if that's challenging behaviour or whatever, then there'll be kind of both carers and agencies that will kind of specialise in having those skills. So I think it's about finding finding the people that you can trust, really, I think. But it is difficult.
Can I just say on that, because working in a school and working with young people, at some point you're thinking about their future and you're thinking about their adulthood and what your role is when they're 10 years of age, preparing them for being adults. So when you say he's only 10 and he's struggling with getting used to these carers, it is a young age to have to get used to new carers. However, if you were to see that as part of the pathway to him being prepared for being the adult in the future, who's able to be that bit more independent of you because he's got used to having these carers, really what's been offered him at this stage, and he doesn't realise it, and you're struggling with it, and it's all very hard. But if he gets over this hurdle and then he gets to know that actually I can be with a different carer and it's all right, then you're really taking the steps towards preparing him for the future. And often when I'm working with families, because I go into schools and I work with families, and for their outcomes, for their reviews, for their planning for independence, because that's now a part of the new legislation, often this being able to be with someone or be supported by someone other than the parent or carer is a step towards the independence that they're going to need. And it's while it's a struggle, it's really a learning opportunity as well. So I know that might not help at the minute, but actually it is. It's a good learning opportunity.
And he's off his feet now. He's in a power chair now. He won't walk. Bless him. So he's got to deal with that as well.
I think I went through a similar phase when Vivek was a bit younger, and I think it's probably when he was off his feet, I think they're hurt that they can't walk anymore, and he probably thinks it's the carer that he can't get on with, but it's something else that's really bothering him. And I think at that stage, as a parent, I needed a bit of counselling, and so did he, just to come to terms with accepting what's happening to them. It's probably nothing to do with us getting on. It was his, he was frustrated, and he didn't really know which one was the worst to deal with, whether it was stop walking or new carer accepting the disease. It's like a bereavement when you lose part of what you can do, but you can't anymore. And I think I had to learn that independently. And then when I was a little bit stronger, and so was he, we could get on a bit better and work things out. So I don't know if that helps.
Oh, sorry, there was someone wanted to say something there, John. I'd just like to reply to the lady. I had the same problem with my son around the age of 10, 11, where he didn't want carers at all, and he was about the same age. He's now 16. But I found that if he was introduced to somebody that he already knew, so I was fortunate to have 2 of his TAs from school that are now his carers, because he pertinently said, I don't want anybody else caring for me, just mum. He just wanted mum. But I said, if it was somebody that he was already familiar with, would you be happy with that? And he's accepted that. So if you know somebody that's already involved in his life, that might be an option, might be make things a bit easier. But also at the age of 10, he started with mental health problems as well, and it was coming to terms with his condition. So we sought out counselling for him as well, which has helped a lot. And he was about 10, 12 when that started. So there is hope, and it is hard. We went through exactly the same thing. His behaviour was terrible. He wouldn't go to school, and it just felt like it was a constant battle. But it will get easier.